She's broken world records standing somewhere she couldn't even see the target.
I remember when I got the world records in Netherlands, so it's 80 yards on that 65 centimetre target. I'm so high, you can't actually see the target, so I'm aiming right up in a tree somewhere, and normally I wouldn't even get it.
That's not even her closest call. This one came down to a single arrow.
Breathe, just breathe, breathe, breathe. I won only by 4 points. It was so close.
World records, national and European gold. This is what winning actually looks like.
The other one has come straight in behind it, and it's actually hooked onto the nock of the arrow.
This is Lesley Sleight.
Hello humans, welcome to the M-Word podcast, brought to you by Martin, that's me.
And Matt.
That's him. Today we're joined by Lesley Sleight.
Yes.
Got it right, which are normally terrible with surnames. So Lesley, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. We're going to do a deep dive on archery. Obviously, experienced is probably an understatement. A very good archer, I guess, is the term. We thought before we dig into your achievements, of which there are many, we'll maybe do a bit of a session around archery, what's involved, the key things. Because again, I've been obviously trying to do a bit of research for the podcast, and it's one of those sports I kind of, when you see the Olympics, and I know perhaps you don't necessarily do the archery that's in the Olympics, but it's one of those sports, isn't it? And I hate to use the word, it's a fringe sport when you see coverage. But then when the Olympics comes, everyone watches it. Same with like the curling, all those sports we don't get to see day to day. When they're on the Olympics, everyone's like, oh, this is ace, and everyone becomes an expert in it, don't they?
Yes.
And so we're going to do that today and become expert. Right. Maybe not shooting in here, especially. But,
oh,
no. Let's start with... Well, you brought some equipment with us, so I appreciate people listening to this audio. So an easy way to drive some traffic to our YouTube channel is to go and watch it on YouTube. But you kindly bought some, we'll start with the bows, if that's all right.
Okay. So first of all, the archery I do, it's like any sport. In athletics, you have things like cross country. So in archery, there's all different disciplines. So you have target archery, which is, as you mentioned, the Olympics. But you also have field archery, and you even have horsebow archery and cross skiing archery. There's all sort of different types of archery. So I do field archery, and the field archery, we do the roundels, which is what you see in the Olympics.
Yes, we've got a couple here.
Yeah. So this one is this is the international field archery one.
Yeah. So like a target in essence.
So
if you go to a shooting range or whatever. Yeah.
So it's black and white. And basically, this particular one, this is the largest, and we'd shoot this 65 centimetre face as far from 55 yards to 80 yards.
Okay.
So it's a lot smaller than the Olympic ones.
Yeah, right, And then I presume it's points based on outer to inner.
So it goes 5-4-3 on this one.
Okay. So we're looking at,
and that's circles. A field round. And it's the same thing for a hunter round, except it's the other way around. You've got one white spot and black. Okay. And that's for the hunter round. And so the targets, that's a 65, but it goes right down to these called bunnies. So the little ones.
Yeah, okay. So this is obviously a tiny target.
So this one would go only up to 11 yards.
Oh, okay.
Is there a reason between the difference in colours there, whereas one's white and black, the other's black to the white?
It's different rounds. So this is so when we do these for international shoots, that's called a hunter round, and they're different. You have they give you the distances. So on the hunter round, you tend to move. So it might be a 55, 54, a 53, 52 on that one as you move up. On this one, they're more set distances, and it's called a field round. And then you've got animal rounds.
Okay, before we talk about the poor animals, when you're shooting, you're then moving from target to target.
It's a bit like
how does
golf.
that? Okay.
So everybody's taken out to their peg. So and then the competition all starts, and you might have 4 on your peg in when it is
4 of what?
4 people on your peg. And so basically you shoot 2 at a time. When you've shot, you go up to the target, you do your points, and then you move on to the next target. making sure it's clear the other group have moved on as well. And that's how you go all the way around the course, moving on from one target to another. So you could come across one like this and you suddenly have to shoot 60 yards, and then the next one could be 25 yards. And it could be through trees. It could be, some have been set around castles and things, so down into dungeons or up into the bell tower, cross lakes. Sometimes targets could be in the lake.
Okay.
Then they have a boat to get them. It's a lovely. You're outdoors climbing in Austria. They were up on the ski lifts, climbing up on the mountainside, shooting down from mountain tops. It's varied wherever you go.
And each time, those I guess part of the skill of the sport, many parts of the sport is then understanding trajectory, wind.
Okay, yes. So basically, you need to know at different distances. Some people are more instinctive, although once you've shot a bow, you don't become instinctive. But they might just look at something, a spot on the animal, or a spot at something on the target, and shoot. And then there's gap shooters. I'm called a gap shooter, so I know at different distances how high or low I need to put my arrow. So
are you given that distance when you step up to the?
On some rounds, you're given the distance. On a lot of rounds, you have to judge your distance. So sometimes my training, I'll take a rangefinder out and just go into the woods and pick a tree and say, right, how far do I think that is? And then
so you do that at the event. So you'll arrive at event place and then do that kind of...
No, at the event you're not allowed any rangefinders or anything, so you just have to... That's my training, that's how I do it for training. I just have to get a feel for it. But a good course layer, a very good course layer, there might be a hollow in the ground, which you can't see, like hidden ground. So the target might look a bit nearer. So when I was out in South Africa, they had a lot of targets I've never shot before, like zebras and things, as 3D animals. Because I didn't know how big that target was, it's very difficult to judge your distance, especially on open ground.
Yeah, okay. Yes, the zebra might look 2 foot, but it might actually
when
literally
you get there,
be 2 foot.
It might be really small, or it could be really big, and you have to think, oh no, and you have to try and use clues. So in the wood, I often use trees. I look at what maybe 5 yards and then just think what 10 yards might look like and do it like that. And yeah.
And you mentioned that first shot. You've both got to do it at the same time, I assume.
No, you don't have to do it at the same time. So in some shooting, you one at a time at a peg in NFAS. For
so I assume you wouldn't want to go first typically because you'd want to see other people and get an idea of flight.
Yes. So what they have to do, you have to change.
Okay.
Because that's great. Because if everybody's overshooting, you'll think, that is nearer. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's just overshot it. Yeah. So yes. So you will change round.
And on that, are you all using the same sort of bow then?
Yes, so you're in the same class. So yeah. So I'm a both traditional. This is my traditional bow. So for traditional class, you have to have a wooden riser. You have to have wooden core limbs. You're not allowed a shelf. You're not allowed any pressure buttons.
So is that, and apologies for people listening, but is that not a shelf as a shelf when it's flat on the front?
They have a little hook on it.
Okay.
And that's the shelf. You're not allowed. I can't remember what it's called. It's a piece that you stick the arrow on.
Oh, okay.
I'm allowed to put that on almost. Because that will just protect my bow from my fletchers. So we're allowed a little bit of sticky tape.
Oh, okay.
So I'm shooting off the shelf. Arrow rest is the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
Not allowed an arrow rest. This is in this particular. So
So this thing for people listening, it's what, 5 foot the bow, is it? Top to bottom?
Yeah. So it's a recurve so that the limbs arc outwards.
Yeah. So this is almost like a traditional bow style that you'd have hunting animals back in the day, back in the cave days.
Yeah. So I mean, your Olympic bows, you'll have a stabilizer, which is a rod. You'll have
cheats,
sights, so you can set your sights. Yeah. This is real traditional.
Yeah. Can I just carry on with this for a moment?
Yeah.
It's obviously a beautiful piece of kit. So these are obviously all handmade, I assume?
So this one is from KG, Keith Gascoigne. is the manufacturer. It's a Phantom, and I was really lucky. He'd just after I'd got my world records, he contacted me and said, "I'm just made a new bow. Would I like to shoot it and then publicise it?" So I said yes. So I was lucky that I was asked to go out to Germany to shoot with some of the top bowyers. It wasn't a competition. It was literally looking at different bows, and they were opening a parkour. And a parkour in Germany, it's like they have open courses anybody can go on. And this is a new one. The mayor was there and everything, and they wanted the top German archers. And I just got invited over because I shot with his wife in the Netherlands, and I got invited over,
right.
And I could show the bow off as well. So I was so lucky because this is over £1,000.
I was going to say, what did they set you back? Right, okay.
It's well over 1,000 now.
And the string's made of? That isn't string?
Dacron.
Dacron.
I think that one's and servings.
Are all the made with that, as in these competitions, are they kind of set in terms of the is there weights or what the string? Sorry, again, wrong word. But strings made from? Do they all have to be the same tension, or how much flexibility do you have on that?
You usually just have Dacron strings or flight strings. The strings don't really matter. What does matter is your arrows, though. You have to have feathers, which sounds you can't have plastic ones, so you can only have feathers. So of course when it gets wet it's like shooting a stick because that's with my wooden bow. So I can use carbon arrows off this in that class.
Oh, okay.
Now,
so we've got selection here, which that's carbon. This is wood with a metal tip.
So wood is is much more difficult. They bend. So that's my American flat bow, or longbow internationally it's called. So it's more of a straight up and down bow.
Okay, so this is no the second bow you've currently bought.
Yeah.
Right.
So I started using this first, and you have to have wooden arrows with this one.
Okay.
And you have to have feathers. Again, it's very simple. It's just got the shelf. It's a lot slower than that bow.
When you mean slower, as in obviously fire and arrows,
yes.
Is that because the bend and the torsion in it?
Yes, well, it's just one piece of wood.
Okay.
It has got bamboo in this one,
okay,
which is nice because that gives it a bit of speed. And it's very light, so like.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
That means if you twitch or the wind takes it, when you.
And same
same
string.
Sort of string, yeah.
Terrible word.
And you mentioned before we started about the pounds on it.
Right.
What determines that on the bow?
So if you're big and strong, you can then get a good poundage bow. So some people could be shooting for competition 65, 75 pound bow. So that's when they're on their fingers, which means the arrows are going to go really fast and straighter. So if you've got a 30 pound bow, if we were both shooting at say 60 metres, the 65 bow, you could just put your arrow at the target and I'll get there. But for a 35 pound bow, you might have to go up on a tree or in the sky to get there because the arrow will take a lot longer to get there because it's slower.
Is that all about the strength of the individual rather than the bow?
So ideally, you'd like to be as strong as possible and shoot the strongest. That's why there's male and female classes, because males tend to, not always, but tend to be stronger than the females and be able to pull. Although, I mean, I've beaten quite a lot of the male classes on it is a lot of technique and everything. So a good archer, if you've got your technique and you've got your gaps right, you can get it. I mean, I remember when I got the world records in Netherlands, so it's 80 yards on that 65 centimetre target. I'm so high, you can't actually see the target. So I'm aiming right up in a tree somewhere. So I can't see the target because my eye is focused way up. And normally I wouldn't even get it. But I managed to get a 4 at 80. I think there was a whoop of joy because
what's a 480?
At 4 points, after they got 5.43, and I got it in the 4 rings.
Okay.
Some of the compounds weren't even getting that.
Okay.
And then
So you're aiming up,
right up
like
in the tree. And then the second arrow was a 70 yard. Again, really hard, same thing. I got another 4. And then I moved up to 60, got a 4, I got a 4. So I got 16 out of 20 points on like the hardest target. So it doesn't mean you can't get it. You just have to
change your trajectory.
Make sure your projection is right and your technique's good. And they do tend to move over to in the wind, or because it's such a long distance, you might have to aim off a little bit as well.
Okay. And do they have windstocks at these events?
No.
Or no. So again, it's all
and it's very. Netherlands was when we were on the flats. It was very windy. It was circular.
Okay.
So you thought it was coming from one direction, and then when you got down to the target, all the arrows are like in a different direction. It's like, it must have been swirling around some of the targets.
I want to talk a bit about maybe that whole process of stepping up and firing, but can I just ask something about the arrows here?
Yeah.
So I've got this wooden one in front of me. Yeah. There's something I was reading online. So the feathers, and I don't know whether you can see this, Matt, but the feathers on the back, or vanes sometimes are they called?
Yeah.
They're slightly arced on this, so they're not like I think about a dart that you play darts with. The feathers are dead straight, but on this there's a slight. Explain why.
So
why there's a slight curve in it.
So you see the purple ones are called cockfletch.
Okay.
So that one will stick up, and the other 2 have to pass the side of the bow.
Okay.
So they will be flush to the bow as it comes out. Although when this comes out, the bend in it is amazing. If you ever saw a slow motion picture of an arrow coming out, it literally bends. So that's why it is. So it is, they're offset. You can.
Yeah, because they look smaller actually as well.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at
big ones.
is a bow with, I suppose, 3 sets of feathers, isn't it? And
but you could put 4 on. There's no reason, like for traditional, for your longbow, you could have four feathers on. I don't think it.
They're just glued on, are they?
Yeah, and then they've got the tape and glue. Yeah. So if it comes off, you just put a new one on.
And does it turn in the air as it's going towards the target?
Yeah,
that's what these are helping do.
I think it's tries to keep it get it straight once it comes out, because as it comes out, it comes round your bow. So it literally is a nest coming round your bow as you come out, and then if you've got it tuned right, you're hoping that it'll go straight. But if sometimes they fishtail or go up and down like that, and that they're not tuned.
Oh, right,
they're not tuned correctly.
What does tune mean?
So you've got to have this, like for your draw length, everybody's got a different draw length based on their shoulders and their arms. So, and the poundage of the bow, your arrows have to match all that. So you work out for your... So the idea is not to have too much arrow sticking out of your bow.
Okay, at the end, basically. Yeah, okay.
But so you can cut your arrows down for your draw length. But so you have to work out what you're pulling on your poundage, because, for example, this bow, it says 38 pounds at 28-inch draw. And the draw, as I say, is how far you can pull that string back to your point. So if you're pulling 26, you're not actually pulling 38 pounds. You might be pulling 35 pounds on it.
So you'll then know, technically, if you get that full capacity, it will go 50 yards as a dead straight, hit the target, but if it's 60 yards, you need to start adding trajectory in it?
And then again, it's your weight of your arrows. So wood, you have to have quite heavy arrows for a wooden bow, because you'll break it, it'll just snap. So the bow manufacturers will say you need a certain weight of arrow. And some I had a lovely threadbare, which actually got my world records on, it's from America, and he said you need so much weight arrow. It's used for hunting, I think, out there. But the heavier the arrow, of course, it's going to go slower as well. So these are really thin arrows and very light. Because I've gone down weight in my bow, because I can't pull as much as I could, well, I just need to build my strength back up. If I have nice lightweight arrows, it would just be it'll go fast.
Yeah.
So the different weight arrows. And sometimes for indoor arrows, people get fat arrows. So I do indoor as well. I don't, I just tend to do. But the reason why they have fat arrows, the more chance of cutting through the line for the higher scoring ring. So if you're going for a 10, so you might find they'll be big, nice fat ones. That's a
Send a cannon up.
Yeah.
And when it's coming out and you're saying it's the bowing. What? Oh, is this bend this bend as well?
Yeah, and this.
So what's happening?
Because the force.
When you say bend, or is it just
that whole
moving?
The material you will see.
Oh, okay.
That releases when it goes. It's just
releasing. Yeah.
Just have to look at that.
Yeah.
And then it's that pressure that causes the light wants to then
so
snap
actually,
if it isn't.
So as soon as it leaves your bow, what it'll find, it'll come round your shelf. So as it comes, it sort of curves round the shelf. It'll probably come like this and then straighten up as it passes the shelf. Yeah.
It's just the bend. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's the bend in them. Right. So you wouldn't think they would, but they bend a lot.
They typically handmade the arrows.
My husband is brilliant. He's done all my arrows, and right through to when I was shooting for Great Britain, he made all my arrows. I think maybe that's why I did so well, because he was such a good arrow maker.
Right. Okay.
He was such a good arrow maker. Yeah. So
you make the wooden.
So he would varnish them and get them so that they're all the same weight.
Okay.
Because you can't have a light and a heavy weight, 'cause it's going to affect you. So he would put as many varnish layers as he could. So this is. He's telling me that's 350, the weight of that one. So when I don't know what the weight on
so
that
we're
one.
looking at
it's very difficult to get them all the same weights. I don't know if he's
360,
got 360. So that's heavier. So what I might do is get all my 350s together, or round that weight.
360.
It's just the weight of the arrow grains, would it?
Grams.
Grams.
Oh yeah.
350 grams. Yeah, that would be
Trying to think how cyclists ride an underweight bike.
When you buy your carbons, they'll be the same weight because they're manufactured.
Yeah, it might not be grams, because I expect it to be heavier than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should have him here. He makes. Oh, he's my technical.
And then you just buy the bit at the end, the steel bit.
So that's the.
Sorry.
Can you tell the difference between a 350 and a 360?
No, it's very much in it.
Yeah.
But from my psychological point of view,
100%. Yeah.
But I can if it's a heavier arrow, because it would drop, or a light. If they're going high or low, either the weight's different or the bent. So you've got to be very careful. So internationally, you try and pull your own arrow. You don't let your competitors, for woodenness especially.
What do you mean by that? Pull arrow?
So if you're pulling your arrow out of the boss, you don't want anybody to, because they will. Anything like that, of course. They would. Not everybody, but that's been known to happen. They'll try and put a bend in your arrow.
Oh, right. I thought you meant just see what I always thought you meant just see kind of what you're using, not
no. So you've got to, if it gets stuck, you've got to pull it in nice and straight. You can't just yank it out because you can bend it.
Yeah, I thought it was more people reading your weights rather than actually doing a bit more nefarious.
Wooden arrows, just normal competition won't bother, but if you were shooting internationally, you would say, I'll pull my own arrow.
Yeah, okay. Archery etiquette.
But you don't also want to pull theirs wrongly. And if they've got high poundage bow and it's in very, it's really hard to pull out, you don't want to be bending it, pulling out anyway.
Yeah.
And I do know the people that I've shot with, I know good arrow pullers, and I'll say if I know that they're good and they're lovely people, I'll say, yeah, you can pull my arrow.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because sometimes you're scoring, you see.
Yeah, okay.
So, but they don't. You can choose to pull it yourself. But I often find men, sometimes I noticed, if you're with people like, this is not internationally, just ordinary competitions, if you're with people who are shooting carbon arrows and you're shooting the wooden, they pull your arrow as though it's a carbon.
Oh, okay.
They just handle it roughly.
Okay.
And that's another reason why I say, no, I'll pull it.
Get your paws off it.
Yeah, get your paws off it.
So also on the table here, since you've just rested the arrows, we've got a pig, I guess, or a hog.
So
not a live one for those listening, by the way.
So some people might not like field archery, but they can do the roundels. But another side to it is 3D and animal faces. So the 3D animals are foam animals.
Okay.
So this is a pig, but you can have great big deer, great big bears, smaller animals right up. I only bought that one because it's small. And it's the same scoring system.
Yeah, you can see on the side it's got like a...
Yeah. So they've got the kill area and the wound area. So World Archery or Archery GB, so they have 3D competitions. So I've represented GB at 3D with this one. And then you have your animals. So,
so yeah, we've got.
So you have like
print here, which is what, a metre and a half.
So this one would be shot at quite a long way away.
Okay.
So
it's not border collie, so we're all right.
It's a wolf.
A wolf, yeah. Okay.
And then you've got loads of different animals. This one would be maybe about 20, 30 yards, 25 yards. It's a pheasant.
Hen, pheasant. That's what I was going to say. Not a hen.
Yeah.
And then you could have little tiny ones like that.
Little squirrel.
Which would be about 15 metres away.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Right, but it's not much of it. And if you see, the tail doesn't count. Nothing counts except the outline.
Yeah, right.
His paws doesn't count.
And do you get to see that before you go to shoot from your peg?
So internationally, they have a board which you walk up to. So you can see where the kill area is.
Right, okay.
And you can, so you go up to the board, and then you have, once you've looked at the board, you're allowed to walk to the peg.
Yeah.
And then you have timed, the two of you decide when you look at each other, right, we're going to walk up, and then you have so many minutes to shoot your arrows.
Okay.
There's not a judge on everyone.
So that's when you mentioned about golf, there's like this
Now and again, they will have somebody with stopwatches or will be watching and timing you, and that's on some. So what you've got to be careful, like you might just climb up a massive hill and you're out of breath, so you might say, I'm just going to have a quick drink, to get your heart rate back down, or some of them will push on and you have to just be careful. You just have to look at them and think, because they might just want to get to that peg, because maybe they're fitter. So fitness is important, because you don't want to be climb something and your heart rate's up. You've got to get your heart rate back down and calm yourself back down to
one of those rounds. What type of time are you looking at to get around a typical kind of, assume you go 5-6 pegs, is it?
So IFAA, you could be warming up at 7:30, 8, and you could be off the course about 5:30.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or it could be earlier. So for the roundels, you've got 4 arrows at every target, and there's 28 targets.
Oh, wow.
So, and then for NFAS, you would have about 38 to 40 targets.
FAS is...
the National Field Archery, which is the animal ones, not international. So our club is NFAS.
Our club?
Our club, which is Bodera and Vannin Archery Club. It's an NFAS club. So they don't do it internationals. So it's all nationals, national clubs. And
where
there's lots of them. They're everywhere. They're all over England. They're very popular.
Where's the Alaman one based out of?
So we're behind the Forge pub, which is Bush's Brewery, who are moving, but we're in their glen. And Martin and his the family that have taken over, they've been great. They've let us use that glen for years, and it's great, really good. So
when you're going up practicing, you're setting up.
Everything's set up.
Oh, okay.
So all the bosses are there. We've got homemade targets on a lot of them. We've got 3D animals out as well. So everything's out. So like this morning, I just turn up, and I was coaching this morning, but you do whatever you want, what you're working on.
How popular is it on the Isle of Man? How's the
field
scene?
archery? So we've only got probably about 27 members.
Okay.
It's not big for field archery.
Do people tend to start with, let's call it traditional Olympic archery, and then want just more variety and move into it?
We've had some come from the other archery club, which I also am a member of, the Target Archery Club, have decided that it's not for them, and then they've heard about us and moved over. And likewise, I always encourage them to have a go, to see what the target is about. That's the idea, to encourage it, to show the two different methods, different ways. But yes, so it's... but everybody that seems to come loves it. I don't think they've understood what it's been about. And once they've got involved, they're really keen. It's just... We've lost a lot, of course. They go to university and things. So it's trying to build up the younger ones again. But we've got a lot of older, which is great. A lot of older people there, which is lovely to see.
I remember, I think school summer... So it's obviously a ridiculous amount of years ago now, but it was like camp, I guess, in summer. And I remember it was at St Ninians, and one of the things we did in the and I'd say it's the last time I shot, but I remember they had archery as one of the sports that you just maybe spent a morning doing in the field at Sydney and shooting. So does the club do any of that kind of? Oh, I don't know whether they even have.
Well, I was. So I've just got. I've just got my NFAS archery coach award because I was doing archery GB coaching. You have to get a coach for each of the different.
Okay.
So I've just done my NFAS. So I am going to try and do some come and try it over the summer. And just get people down. It's just been so wet and muddy. I'm just waiting for everything to dry out, and then it'll be. I think that's what puts people off, maybe sometimes the outdoor weather.
Can't be outdoors. Sure, it's got to be an attraction, really.
But there's some beautiful places I've visited and walked round, and you're out with nature. You've got a lot of the courses, like especially Robin Hood area, around in Nottingham way. They've got deer passing your butts. I remember shooting there was the Worlds in Australia, and we had kangaroos jumping in front of our butts. In South Africa we had the ostriches on the course. Right. It's just like, it was.
Get out of the way.
It was literally.
Otherwise we'll be having you for tea. So I'm going to have some. Well, I think they're interesting facts that I'm going to rumble through, and then we'll chat a bit about, I suppose, your career. Let's call it Is it what do you prefer to be called? Do they prefer to be called archers, or you use the word bowers before? I think
archers.
Archers, it is. Okay. So the word archery comes from Latin, arcus, meaning bow.
Right.
I didn't know whether you knew that. I didn't. This is all chat, so you can thank chat for some of this. A country I didn't even know of called Bhutan. Have you heard of that?
Bhutan,
Yeah, it's their national sport, archery.
We've got a member who does a lot of Korean bows.
Okay.
So because there's all sorts of bows, and he's really into the Korean bows. So he comes down, which is
I bet they're beautifully made, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and so the anchor
very
point
traditional as well.
It's right back here. So
it's on your shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I just watch him, I think, his release. He has his release aid is like a thumb ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's.
Wow. Yes. So I assume on your bows it's 2 fingers.
It's 2 fingers. Yeah, so 2 fingers above one. I do the Mediterranean loose, 2 fingers below, one above the side of the mouth, and. In fact,
so the feathers are touching the side.
Yeah. So when we were doing GB, they actually took photos. We had to stand there and get into full draw position, and they took a photo to check that we were doing the same draw, because you could short draw, say it was a close one, you could half draw, couldn't you, and get close. You're not allowed to do that. You have to come to full draw.
What's the reason for that? Why you can't?
Because it's sort of string walking in a way. You're just like, you've got to come back anyway to full draw every time. That's part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have.
So then it's about the trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't just pull it a little way if you're dead close. Think I'll just do it half draw, and you can't do things like that. So you have to supposed to come back. And the other thing is face walking. If you move your hand up and down, you can actually move the arrow up and down height-wise just from, so you could keep one point, say that's 30 yards, okay, and 40 yards you might think, I'll just move up to my cheek or down to my chin, probably down to your chin, but you're not allowed to do that. It's called face walking.
Oh, okay. So you've always got to be that same position, and then it's moved the front of the bow, basically.
So you've just got to judge. But there is string walking for bare bow. It's the same thing, but it's a different category. They move their fingers up and down the string.
Okay.
So they always put their arrow in the middle of the target, and then they'll do the height from where they position their fingers on that string. So that's called bare bow.
Bare bow.
And then you've got like your compounds with your wheels, and they've got clickers. They've got gadgets to.
Okay. Yeah.
All that.
Cheating.
Yeah.
No, cheating. No, I'm only messing.
So that where you're talking about either that different types of walking, that's because they're wanting to keep their eye on the target, but they're using something else to manipulate the trajectory rather than you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I say, I gap. So I look at the point of my arrow, so I know if I want to do 20 yards, I'll put my 2 fingers out. that's the spot, and I go down 2 fingers, and then I look at something, maybe a dandelion or what was under 2 fingers, and I put my arrow at that, and then if I've guessed the distance right and I've done everything right, it should go in the spot.
Okay.
So for 80 yards, when I'm at the 80-yard mark, I put 4 fingers up on top of the spot, and then I find where that goes. Hopefully it's not a cloud that's moving or a tree. And then I go for a look at something and put my point up there.
And will everyone have their different techniques for how they do that?
Yeah, but gap shooting, you will find most international archers will gap shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more accurate than just looking and pointing. I mean, there are really good people that can just look and just go for it.
It reminded me again when I was just doing a bit of research, and I appreciate it's a different sport, but the shooter in the was it the Olympics that was on recently, and a lot of they have he was a shooter and he was just holding it, wasn't he? Remember, he was like Bulgarian, Eastern European.
Shooter, and he had his hand in his pocket.
Okay, what other interesting facts? There's quite a few, but let's just finish off with. So I'll quiz Matt. Do you know what a Robin Hood shot is?
No.
Assume you.
It's where arrows in the kill, the other one has come straight in behind it, and it's actually hooked onto the nock of the arrow. So you've got arrow. Yeah.
So have you ever had that
I've
instance?
had Robin Hooded. Practicing, I have.
Right.
You don't really want to do it. Cause
No. Yeah.
If I'm practicing on small and I think I'm going to do it, I will just take my arrows out. And in competition, say 4 of you are on that kill, this for international, and they've piled it into that inner kill, and there's no room for you, you can actually say, please, can you take your arrows out? Because there's no way you're going to get it, because you could be deflected off their arrows.
Yeah.
So you can ask for them to take their arrows out.
If you did manage to Robin Hood, would that count? Say you did, so it would count. It's
it would count towards where that first arrow was, what point it was in.
Like you said, you still don't want to break arrows or
all that
potential.
Arrow, it's fine. So let's talk about how did you get into archery? What's your story around?
So my story is I've always done loads of sport. So I think it's more important to go backwards in time. I got into archery because my sons were doing archery and my husband was doing archery, and I was not doing archery only because I was busy running to outdoor centres and doing everything else. But they got to a stage where they're quite young still. They wanted to do competitions across. But you have to have a shoot guardian. You couldn't take 2 children. So I was asked, would I go as the shoot guardian for Sam, which just means I just have to walk round with him. I thought, I might as well do it. I said, I might as well do it. And Roger goes, now, are you going to do it seriously, competitively or not? I said, yeah, seriously. He said, right, okay. So serious means 4 months in a shed on a bag shooting. Not in the glen, no targets, nothing. He said, if you're serious about being good at archery, this is what you've got to do. So I'm so glad. So I spent standing 2 foot from a bag, shooting arrows into a bag for about 4 or 5 months before I was even let out to do a target, because the most important thing is technique. Once you've got your technique, then you can start working out where you want to put the arrows. I mean, at the time, he said, this is the Korean way, this is what you're going to have to do if you're serious. I've always been competitive. I've been competitive since 9, so I thought, well, I'll do it seriously. And then, so my first competition, actually, I went to the Nationals. Now, you shouldn't have, but Isle of Man got a bit of a... We got those days, we were allowed to, because being on the island, it's hard to get you 3 shoots in. So nowadays, you have... Isle of Man, we have to do the same as England, get 3 shoots. So I actually went to the Nationals, never have shot a competition. My husband drilled it into me because I was taking my other child round. And I did okay, yeah. I think I came 12th. Like, I was really like, oh, that's all right then. Like, I've never shot a competition in my life. So that's how I got into it. And then I got hooked after that, really. So
So
I'm thinking back, why am I good at archery? What is it that's... And I think it's all I've always been into sport and heavily into kayaking, heavily into rock climbing, a lot of upper body strength.
Yeah, I was thinking, imagine it's fairly core-orientated sport.
Yeah, and very core. And I think that's helped me a lot. And I always had a good eye in. I remember on our sports science degree, we had to do this experiment, and the lecturer said, I need somebody to throw 3 darts, and they have to do exactly the same thing because we're putting force plates on you, and we need the same movement. So all the boys were having a go, and nobody got it 3 in the same spot. And I said, oh, let's try a girl then. He was very boy orientated anyway. So 3 straight in the 20, right next to each other. Right, you'll do. So I've always I think I've got a good eye.
Yeah. Okay.
On me, and that's part of it as well.
And then obviously as you've got the bug, should we say, to do more and more, when did you start getting, let's say, to the, no pun intended, the pointy end of competitions?
Right, so what happened was the only competitions we could do was at half terms, school holidays, because I was a teacher.
Okay.
So what we used to do is, Easter came, what competitions around Manchester, because that's where my mum lived. So I belong to Archery GB because we've got the Archery GB club on the island and NFAS. So I started. I
won't fire it, don't worry.
So I started doing Archery GB, did some of their shoots, and then I was getting records. So somebody turned around to me and said, "Why aren't you going for the team?" I said, "Well, I don't know how to go for the team." He said, "Well, you have to get three selection shoots and get the selection scores, which are put up." And then if you get selected, you can shoot for GB.
And it's age category?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's no age. It's just GB.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought, oh, okay. He said, you've just got 1 score now. So I thought, oh, well, I didn't know it was that good. Well, I'll go for it. So this was about 2015. So I had been shooting a bit, but because I was always doing Duke of Edinburgh and away with kids, I'd never really... So I thought, right, I'm going to have a go. So it was difficult. So it's like everybody here, you have to get that Friday night boat after school. You're in at midnight. You get there at 2:00 in the morning, up at 6 to shoot for 2 days. Early morning back on the Monday, straight into teaching. So I thought, well, I'm going to try it and just hope I get it in 3 shoots so I don't have to do any more. Okay. And I did. And in fact... the first time I selected, I was an older athlete, I was about 49. I thought, oh my goodness. So I felt like that imposter syndrome. I think all these young ones. And then I was told, actually, I was the highest ranked. They only took 3. And this was when I was doing my longbow. They only took 3 from each bow class. Only if you got the scores as well. So I was... I got my first GB cap in 2015.
Where was that?
We went to Estonia.
Okay.
That was the Europeans that year. And it was the highest, second highest scoring GB member from all the bows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I came 12th in that one. And then I managed to get selected for the following years, right up until COVID, really.
Did you put this into check luggage?
I put it in a fishing bag. It's actually a ski bag.
Oh, okay.
On a fishing bag into a ski bag, yeah.
And then check it in.
Because you have to take 2 bows.
Okay, in case there's a problem.
Yeah, one goes. This is very old.
It's beautiful.
But look, I've had this a long time. It's all cracking up. That's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I used that as my spare bow this year. So I did the Europeans with... Both bows are very old, to be honest. Yeah.
She mentioned a world record. Sorry, I just gone to cabin luggage there randomly. But it's just, I was just thinking, obviously you're not going to get it on a plane. But
2019 was a year that, when you just, everything just right.
I've never had that in sport, but I know what you mean.
It just felt good. I didn't even know I was shooting. It was that, you go up to the line and you shoot and you don't even just shot. That was feeling
flow
so
state,
good.
I think they call it in sport, the flow state.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't easy because it was a bad year, really, to start with. And I got to Netherlands, which was the Europeans, and I remember, vividly. So the first day, you also get, England will select teams. So if you so it was a traditional recurve team, and I got selected. There's 3 of you to make up the traditional recurve team, so they put me down for the traditional recurve with 2 men. And I remember, this is the morning of the first day. We've got 5 days of shooting. One of them said, "How come you got selected? Well, why wasn't so-and-so selected?" This is great team.
So this is a team, mate.
This is a team, because you can have 3 men. You don't have to have a woman on it. And but I was selected.
Because you were.
But they didn't have to have a woman. They could have had the three men. So I thought, you go into it and you thought, oh no. So I shot my first day, and I remember coming off the course, and he comes up to me, "Well, what did you get then?" So I said, "I got 292. And he turned around and goes, "You mean 192? And I thought, oh God. So I said, "No, I mean 292," and walked off, because that was a world record.
Oh, really?
So he must have fired me up so much that day. I'm like, right. So, yeah. So he did apologise the next day when he realised, and I beat him by 50 points as well. So I was the top one of our TR. So, and then I got another world record the 3rd day. Was it 3rd or 4th day? I managed to get one in the animal. So I got 2 world records that, and then later that season I went to America, because I was going to do the bow hunters, and I went to the North American one. And I got 2 veterans and an adult world record on that one. 1 point between the veteran and the adult. So I actually got 3 world records that year. And then I won the world championship for the bow hunters. So it was, and I also got, if I remember rightly in my notes, got 39 English records that year.
Oh, wow.
So I actually broke veterans and adults on the different things. It was just a year. It was a good year.
Not trying to gloss over what just you said there. What were the world records you got there? What?
So I got an adult field, which was that roundel one, that one. Yeah. Okay, and I got a veteran field and a veteran hunter, black one. Yeah, I didn't get the animal. I think it was 2 points. I was 2 points off the bow hunter world record, I remember, for one of the rounds.
And it's like financially support wise, like the GB, they take? Oh, right, okay.
No. So Northwest, so we're affiliated to the Northwest for Archery GB. So they gave me a couple of hundred. No, they're not good.
So they're not getting government grants, as in from National Lottery?
No, it goes to the Olympics.
Oh, and that's it. Oh,
it goes to all the Olympic target ones. Okay. So you can get your own or try. So, yeah, they're not good.
Right.
No.
Yeah, because I know you've mentioned some places, South Africa, Australia, you do have to...
Well, I was very lucky for South Africa, because I got the Isle of Man Ambassador Award for that one.
What does that
from
mean?
the Isle of Man Sport. It's Isle of Man Sports Aid. There's an ambassador aid for those who aren't on the Isle of Man Sport Aid programme. So if you're representing your country, you could apply. And I think that's the first year I've applied, because I didn't know about it. And they actually helped me out with South Africa, which was really nice. That's the first grant aid I got. But I've always had use of the gym at the sports aid, and I've had access to sports psychologists. I got target panic after one of the GB shoots, and I was going through a bad state of target panic. I think it's I was in the top group. The cameras were on us for every target. It was following us around, because I had 2 Italians in my group. It was in Italy. And I think I got just overwhelmed.
And what did you call it? Target?
It's called target panic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it Rich you saw down there?
I had Sean Griffiths, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know Richard's now in. So now and again it does creep up on me. I think it's one of those things you just have to get over. So like in my bow hunter one, I was really pleased, because so it's a 5-day competition. On the last day, 3 of us was 4 points between us after the first 4 day, only 4 points between us. So I had an Italian and what was the other one? Was from Brazil. So last day, and so you get grouped. So after your first day, you're all mixed up, and then they group you.
Where your positions are.
Yeah. So you're always, and you can go up and down. Then Is that like golf? Yeah.
Yeah,
up and down.
Next round, you sit with it. Yeah.
So 4 points. I was winning, so I didn't have to score. So they were scoring. And it was...
Oh, so if you're the leader of your 4, you got the best score.
I'm target
They're
captain.
doing the grunt work. Nice.
I'm the captain.
Right, okay.
Yeah. No, but you're muddling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so 4 points between us. The Italian drifted off during the day, and we noticed, but the Brazilian was doing really well, and she was lying third, 4 points behind. And I knew that we were sort of tit for tat. First target, though, it's 1 arrow round this one as well, so you've got 1 arrow at it. You move on.
Wow.
Okay.
For 24 targets. So psychologically, if you've missed, and then you miss the next one, you're thinking, oh my goodness. And we did. We missed the first.
So I presume, like, from a mental perspective, obviously we talked about that a moment ago, you're constantly in your head adding up, thinking, am I ahead? Or do you know live almost?
I don't try and do that because that puts pressure, but you do. You've got to go through the process and not the prize. I keep saying that. My niece is the goalkeeper for GB, goalkeeper under Maddie Hinch for those who was at the Commonwealth Games. And I said, because she had to do all the penalty flicks. And I said, well, what's going through your mind, And they're all big competitions. She said, process, not prize. And she said, keep telling me, keep doing that. So we were tit and tat all day. So second one, we all flunked again. So I said, the trouble is, you're bouncing off each other. So if you're all nervous, you're bouncing. So I said to the girls, we don't shoot like this. Just trying to relax all of us. So third target I hit, and they missed. And then fourth they hit, and then we were on our way then. But it came down to the last target. I knew we were close. Last target, and I thought, I've got to get a kill. If I don't get a kill, I think I've lost the gold here. and then the targets... all I could think is, Sean, breathe, just breathe. Just go through the routine, just forget it. Go through the process, doesn't matter what you get. So I did, I shot it. And then she came after me. I wasn't sure it was in the kill, it was quite high. She came, she got a wound, and we went up to it, and I just cut the line on the kill. And she got a wound, and we actually drew. And I said, oh, we've drawn, thinking, we're going to have to shoot off. But then she said, no, you've won, because I had 4 points ahead. I completely forgot about that, the 4 point on there. So I won only by 4 points. It was so close. And then the next Worlds was in Finland, which I couldn't get to. And she won that, so I was so pleased with her. Because you do get a good bonding, when you're with people. We were with each other for the whole 5 days.
It obviously sounds fairly friendly in regard to a competition side, but is there elements of trying to psych out the others?
Oh, it's not so friendly.
It's not.
Oh no, I remember in Australia, had 2 American girls, and they were sisters, and I was shooting with one of the sisters one day. I remember and then we ended up in this top group with an Estonian called Ula. And the American girls, they were going out of their way to wind us up to all sorts of things. They're like my stroppy teenagers. And Ulla is one of the world's best longbow archers. And she was getting fed up. And Ulla missed on the last target. She missed with all 3 arrows, which is not like her. Went up to target, pulled her arrows out. It wasn't even in the paper. And then they said, right, we're going to get you thrown out of the competition. You're not allowed to touch the arrows until they're scored. Now, she'd pulled them, and they weren't actually in the paper. Okay. And they weren't scoring, but you're still not supposed to touch your arrows. And then they said, I couldn't have my scores because it would have affected, we were on the same target. I was thinking, how could it affect my scores? I said, that's ridiculous. And I really went for them. How could you, they're not on the paper, and they've not affected mine. You can see my scores there. So they gave me my scores. And then they tried to get me to go against her. So they put in a protest. Oh, it was awful.
Oh, right, okay.
So the protest was upheld, which means they got the money back. You pay money. And the protest was upheld. But she just lost the points. And since she didn't get any on that one, they were trying to get her out of the competition because she was winning, beating them.
And is there other more subtle... I keep going back to golf. I'm no golfer, but
up and
it's
down.
very etiquette.
Sometimes
very etiquette
they'll come up, draw, you've got them in their eye, then they'll come down just as you're about to shoot or something.
Just in your periphery to try.
Yeah. If you're on like a bridge or wobbly surface, I've known other archers told me this. Somebody will move the bridge, or something. There's lots of different things, really. To get to the peg, sometimes they're quite tight, and you have to be a certain distance from the peg. They'll get there and get the best spot, and you're like shoved into a corner. Okay. You've got to hold your ground and make sure that. And you kindly say, "Are you okay there?" You should be like, are you? So there's lots of things, but it's an international because you've got medals. Some of these are being paid. Some countries they get paid if they get medals and stuff. GB say they want a medal count. They say we'd like you to come back with so many medals, which it's a bit rich. And the other thing is with GB, so 1 year it was after COVID. I didn't get the scores, but I was second ranked. And the first didn't get the scores, but they don't take anybody.
Oh, okay.
Even though you're paying, they just won't.
Right.
I know. They set the thing, unless you get those 3 scores, they're not interested. Right. They won't even let you go. It's just a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah. So I think that's not... So I like IFAA better. For IFAA, it's cheap because you don't have to go into the set hotels. There are set hotels, but you can make it. You could take your van over if you've got a caravan or something. Or I've camped on site. Sometimes they put tents on site, so you can plan it for and you're not paying for coaches to go, and you're not paying for physios. So that's why I prefer shooting for England for IFAA. It's just, you can work it out better.
Just before we move on to something else, talked about there, that psychology side to it. How have you found it internally there? Because you mentioned the process and not the prize, and we've gone through so many technical aspects about equipment and everything. And that's what I was thinking while we were talking about this is that, again, compared to other sports where we've had golfers or darts or snooker or things like that, where it's very much, it's you in that side. How much does that play to you in that side? Or because you mentioned panic as well, or is that something you've found develop, or you've always been okay to manage?
I think my problem was because I had such a good year and I know what it's supposed to be like. And then I was short drawing, so my arrow would go before it got there. So of course then it's a weak arrow because I'm not pushing using my back muscles. So as soon as it went on target, sometimes it would go. There's that chimp on your shoulder. And so it's finding ways around it. Or sometimes it'd go off target and you can't get back on. You can't, your arm's stuck. Or it's like a massive weight to pull. It's like suddenly it's a massive weight to pull it. All different ways. So it's the breathing, relaxing, getting your breath under control.
How long would you typically hold it in full tension?
You should have not too long. I used to do it quite long with that, but it worked for me.
What's not long to?
Well, you should just go up, get into thing 1, 2, 3, and manage to go. Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't need to hold it too long. It's not like getting a sight, for the Olympics where they get the sight. Even though they don't hold it that long, some do, but you'll notice the Koreans they don't hold the bow that long. They'll come up, get to and then off it goes. But sometimes it just goes before you want it to go, or as I say, you can't get onto target, or it's because I suppose you're vulnerable. You're just there by yourself, really, and
yeah, it's just that kind of every sport. I mean, we've started to chat to probably 100 sports people, haven't we? In there to all this kind of same themes, which is why we like the conversations. Is just that in golf, it's the ips, it's whatever.
It's the same. It's the ips.
It gets in your head, doesn't it? And that's why sports
the more it
psychologists
gets in your head, and I shouldn't call it target panic. That's the thing. You should because I never had it. The trouble is, I don't have it practicing.
Yeah.
And because I can't do many competitions because the cost of going across, you go really excited, and then.
She's probably feeding
the pressure, thinking I've got to get the score today, or I need that score, or if I want to get considered for England team, I need to get that score. And I think there's a lot more pressure.
For sure.
In the early days, it was so good because I had no pressure because I didn't know how good I was. So there's nothing on the island to tell me if I was good or bad. So I just went up to shoot, and I keep thinking, oh, I'd love to go back to those days where I can just rock up and shoot and surprise myself. And but then other people put you under pressure. I remember when at Worlds looking at groups, and like somebody came along, and it's weird what you do. They said, aren't you the girl that's got the world records? And I'm going, no. You admire, you think, I don't want the pressure. No. It's silly. Why do I do that? It's like you just
stupid human brains.
Yeah, because you just don't want the pressure. Or I say, oh, no good now. Or you start. It's self. But when that year I got the Worlds, I decided, because I knew I was getting really good and I thought I could get a veteran world record. I was writing every day, I'm going to get a world record. So for all the months between, that's like for 4 months, not mostly days, unless I forgot, I was writing that down. Because in the garden, because I got a really big garden and I train in my garden, I know it's just clinical because it's on the thing, but I was getting the scores in. So I knew I could do it. So I thought if I was told if you write it, then you can start believing it. So
it's the visualization piece. So Laura Kinley, the swimmer, she was talking about that, wasn't she? Where she wanted to get, was it 1 minute 11 or whatever it was, and she had just stickers around her house with that time on it. So when she switched the light on, it was there in front of her when she it was on a coffee mug. So it just becomes a visualization point.
So I just used to write that down, and it did. It came up. I'm not sure if it came about because of that, but visualization is another good thing. So if it's bad weather or I lie in bed, I just see myself shooting, go through the things. Hanging back in the kitchen for training, just going through everything. But the mental thing, the trouble is you haven't got time just to go through loads of exercises before you shoot, because you've got time pressure of shooting. So say do this, do that, do the other, and it's just like, right.
Comes back to
wiggle my eyes side to side, like things like that, and it like you don't have time to think. You just think, I need to shoot.
So I just want to finish off with two quick things. One, I'm just going to rattle through some of the achievements, because you mentioned a couple and then we've moved on, and I think and correct me if I'm wrong, because my research assistant might have got a few things wrong. So just sort of rattle through. We obviously talked about back when you were first picked, but selected for GB for this is 2015. Selected to represent GB at 3D archery in Italy. Topped the GP field rankings that year, 2017.
I did it so I got five caps. They changed the format as it went along. So they used to do top 16 and then you whittled down. But then in the last one, I went 3 years with that, 2 years with traditional recurve. So you play off. It's a bit like the Olympics. So the end ones play off there and you sort of swap positions. So I didn't like that format as much, to be quite honest. I like the England format because it's points every day. Okay, you might have a bad day, but you could make up for the other day. And I quite like that format than a head-to-head,
Became European champion in the Veterans Ladies Traditional Recurve class, 19, sorry. Does that sound right? Yeah. Okay, you're just looking at me then. I was... broke the world records, which we've talked about there. 2013, English 3D champ.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? I've got, does this pause? Does that
No. I've got I've got two world golds, 2 silvers and 2 bronze at World. Europeans, 3 golds, 3 silver and 2 bronze.
Should have left it to you to receive. Yeah.
And then
isn't it mental? Like I follow sport. I mean, I don't buy too many local papers, and this isn't meant to. I've never come across this. And I remember having this conversation with Matt Singer, who's doing powerlifting, I think, wasn't it? Probably not the right term, but he was like a world record holder. And you're like, why doesn't the Ireland shout more about this?
Because we're minority sports. It's very rarely you get in the main paper. Couriers, but I got a lovely letter from the governor when I got my 2 world indoors in 23. I got 2 world records with the longbow, and he sent me a lovely letter.
Nice.
Because the indoors, it's just like, everybody does indoors. It's not elite. It's not like that's quite big indoors. So I think I don't know, but it is sad because I feel I do feel that we don't get as much attention. But yet some minority sports might do.
Yep.
I think it depends what sport you do, really. But yeah, because we train as much, and after school, before school, I train every day. I would be if I don't get my bow out of death, I actually feel bad about it. And there's a lot of hours of work you have to put in,
and expense.
And the nice thing is about it, that is why I think some of the older archers are good. Because it's experience. And when you sight picture, if you're doing it all the time in different woods, different angles, different things, it must be getting into your head more of judging distance. It's not all about pulling the poundage, just say you can adjust. Yeah. I mean, the thing is you do get a bit weaker, but I try and keep my strength up.
And then the bit that kind of really follows on from that, and just to recap, club-wise, people wanting to reach out to clubs.
Yes.
And there's also, I've seen some archery down the railway line, the back of the Hawthorn, I'd say, broadly.
So that's the Isle of Man Archery Club.
Okay.
So that's the target archery, which is good. So the Island Games, if you were interested in like that sort of competition, and it's not on the Commonwealth Games.
Not a lot, is this year?
It might be in India, though. Yeah. So that's your... Tradition. Think about your Olympic type. So, so that's good if you're into that. And they do a lot of indoor, of course, through the winter as well. Okay. So they're down in Oncon Youth Centre.
And they're just practicing then at the back of that, where I see them in a field.
Yeah, they do competitions as well on Sunday. Yeah. But then they're the same. They have to go off island to get the.
And then reaching out, you mentioned your club earlier. Just recap and where they might find you.
Bowdoin and Vannin.
Facebook, things like that?
Yes, or do you want my Gmail?
No, well, I mean, we can put some links in the footer of the...
Well, Facebook, I think, is sort of... I think we're on the sports website.
Okay.
Sports
reach
website.
Out, so somebody
reach out to sports websites, and then,
wants to learn more, bring their kid down to have a little go. You're the lady to reach out to.
It's usually, if the youngsters, we keep it in line with the other one, it's about 10, 11, and they'll need a shoot guardian until they get to a certain age. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. But I often find that kids come down, parents get hooked.
Okay. Trying to beat their kid.
But it's like they suddenly realise it's not quite what they thought it was.
Yeah, and I imagine the barrier to entry is in financial isn't particularly...
It's very cheap because we have the kit.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't, and you can get cheap bows if they want to buy their own kit later.
Yeah, well, I think you were saying, we said it before on air.
Yeah, but that's top end. But that's top end.
Yeah,
that's
stupidly expensive.
Yeah.
We do cycling, we see kids on 10 grand bikes, so this is, relatively speaking, and obviously this is high end, so thinking barrier to entry, a few £100 there. They could probably have their own bow and arrow.
You can have it even cheaper than that, £70.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're talking different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insight. Thank you for bringing all the equipment as well.
Right.
Like I say, those listening, be sure you don't want to probably listen to it again on YouTube, but some of the things here, I've been just fiddling with them this whole time.
It's lovely though.
I'm hoping you might leave one behind.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming in.
No, thank you.
Many congratulations on your achievements.
I think
probably should be more people shouting about it. So, but congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And,
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
It's word out from Martin.
And word out from Matt.
Poor flimsy humans. Don't you wish you were flawless like me? A towering inferno of physical perfection?
I hate to pop your blimp-like ego, but you're not perfect.